and kind of go to Hurricane Katrina, because you were one of the main, I was going to
Yeah.
say you were one of the main PJs during Hurricane Katrina. There were obviously a whole bunch of phenomenal work that was going on by everybody that was involved in Hurricane Katrina. But why don't you dive into some of those stories?
All right. Hey, real quick, I'm going to see if I can keep, because I'm using an iPad and the camera's on the side and I can't freaking see it. It's really annoying me. Let's see if that works better. That's not going to work better at all, man. All right, we'll stick with what we got. So yeah, man, dude, what a blessing, man. During an unfortunate event, right? Like, so at the time I was at Moody, man, I was at 38th. And like, obviously we knew the hurricane was coming and stuff like that. So, yeah, man, like, we got the call that night as the hurricane's going on that we were gonna, that we were going in. So, I mean, that was kind of like, that point, like, man, Moody was such a great place to be, because at the time it was the biggest PJ squadron. So what, there are a lot of taskings that, other squadrons couldn't, fulfill, got kind of handed down at 38th, and it was always a bunch of just different things. But regardless, I mean, at the time the hurricane, was the Civil SAR stuff, it was just something that we always did anyway. But I mean, I was, we got down and we based out of a guard base, I believe, out of Mississippi. And as soon as, we got there that night, the night during it was going on, and then the morning, we kind of like, all the helicopters showed up, PJs were still coming in from different parts of the country. So we were actually one of the first squadrons to be there. And I remember we were in this big hangar, like it's like 4 a.m, like, the morning as soon as it passed. And we're in this big hangar, man, like everybody's kind of staging their gears. All the pilots for like, big brief from their whiteboarding, like trying to get names, putting 2 PJs per helicopter. And man, I just remember like all this chaos was going on. So I just decided to like go up into that room with the helicopters. And at the time I was kind of friends with one of the majors from Moody, one of the pilots. So I walk up to him like, hey, what's going on, man? Like, what's the roster? Who's going in? Like, who's going on the first flight? And he's like, well, I'm on the first bird going in. And he's like, do you want to come with me? I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm going to come with you, dude. So like literally, he puts my name on the board, man. And it's crazy, man. Like it's just nothing you've ever seen. Like you had PJs from every base, like in this hangar, like literally getting into fist fights to try to get on the first flights into New Orleans. It was awesome, man. It was such an awesome thing. So like, at the end of the day, man, the rosters are filled out. You had 12-hour shifts, you had the day shift, you had the night shift. And I was literally on the first bird going into like, there's like, and it was like an armada, man. Like, just about every 60 from, the Guard Reserve active duties was just flying in full force, from Mississippi into New Orleans. And man, it was such a cool thing to be part of, man. Like it's still in my top 5, like, like deployments to be, to actually get to do some work. And, like every season, every older J had a new guy with them. So like, it was a great opportunity to like, for mentorship, to teach, guys, to get them spun up, on, AIEs and flying in the back of the helicopter. And like, like the guys were, guys were doing hundreds and hundreds of hoists, And I think, the thing I'll remember most was like, I think it was like day 3. And it was towards the end of the shift before we flew back to Mississippi. And like the sun's starting to like go down, so that the sky is orange. Like there's the refinery on the water, like it's still on fire, man. Like there's just fire just going off everywhere. And I was hoisting down onto the bank, because they had an American flag that was like just waving and just get all torn up and stuff. So I was going to try to go down and cut it off. And as I'm going down the hoist, for whatever reason, I just decided to look back, and man, there's like 12 to 15 60s in the air, and every helicopter had a PJ going down the hoist. And I just remember like, my mind just stopped, and like I took this mental picture, and I just remember like seeing this like snapshot of the sun going down. There's fires everywhere, and like helicopters, and literally every helicopter had a J going down the hoist in this background. And I was just like, dude, it was super proud, like a super proud moment for the career field, man. And like, the guys did some phenomenal work, It it was awesome seeing like, you know, what I don't know what it's called. I think we called it the Clover Reef, but like we had the guys from the 1, 2, 3 like controlling all the aircraft out of that one little spot. Like you could look down and see like a lot of the ST guys like doing all the boats. They're running through like all the towns and boats. Man, it was such a surreal event. Man, it was awesome. And what's funny is my brother lived in New Orleans at the time, and I remember he evacuated like the maybe 2 days before the hurricane hit, but he had wrote like on his roof like PJs only on his roof, and I remember I hoisted down on the house and I had to like chase these guys out of the house, like um, man, it was just crazy, man. Like it was just nuts. It was, and how it is, man. There's so many stories that I could tell about that experience, man. But I felt super lucky to be part of it, man. It was awesome.
All
Awesome.
right, man, dude, you covered a lot there. Okay, so one, you actually hoisted down to your brother's house and chased some dudes out from looting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Also, like, dude, that's somebody needs to paint that.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man.
Like that would be an
Yeah.
amazing painting or lithograph or something like that, because I mean, there's so much work that was put in from the PJs, the 60 crews, the ST guy, it just everybody. It was such a huge operation, and it's a humanitarian event on US soil. And there was a lot of I remember on the news, one of the generals, one of the guard generals was going around saying, hey, we're declaring martial law because you guys were getting shot at.
Yeah, man. So I mean, like by day 2, we like it was because we were on nods, like you could see like I don't I didn't know at that time. I didn't realize like you can go to Walmart and buy tracer rounds. Like you just saw tracer rounds flying, and like the pub's like, hey man, we're being shot at. So like it was like day 2, like we realized there were people on the ground just like taking pop shots at the helicopter, man. So that's really the first time, like, I think on day 3, literally that morning, you had marshals like going through the cities, and we started carrying actually.
Did you?
We started concealed carrying after that night, especially because we were going through buildings and houses and stuff like that. So we did, you didn't know what you were going to come up upon, but especially when man, when you get to some of these overpasses, man, like which was super sketch, because how it is, man. Like people just people are just scared and terrified, man, and they just want to get out of there, and they kind of feel like the selflessness sometimes of people just kind of goes out the window, and it showed, man. Unfortunately, it showed. Like we'd be on overpasses and we'd have to do crowd control. Like you try to do it like 100 yards from the helicopter. There was one time where we filled up the helicopter, and I was trying to talk some guys down, like, hey man, we're coming right back. You guys are next, right? And and literally, as I look back, and like my teammates like, okay, we're good, and he's on comms like, oh, we're good, and I'm like, okay, man. And I turn around and just start sprinting, try to get to the helicopter, and like the crowd, it's like zombies, man. They're like,
Yeah.
come, it's like, holy, you're just like sprinting, you jump on, and you take right off, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
So
desperation is, and you nailed it. Desperation is scared. It's not that people were shooting at you guys out of, and I'm giving it a benefit of the doubt. It's not like they were shooting to cause chaos or to cause harm. I see it as frustration. You're scared. You're desperate. There's only so much room on the helicopter. They're in a line, or there's probably no line because it's crowd control, like you
yeah,
said.
man. Yeah.
And people are just jumping in front, and you got people that are desperate, and it's like they're pissed because, dude, you told me the last time you were here, you're getting me out.
Yeah,
And now
right.
somebody just jumped in ahead of me, and it's chaos, and crowd control is huge. And that's actually we did a HADR exercise just a couple weeks ago, and we put about 30 SEER students with six PJs, controllers, and SR, handling a situation, a mass cast situation. And the whole goal was, the medical stuff, but it was crowd control. And these 30 SEER folks are just wreaking havoc.
Yeah.
and crowd control is difficult. And,
That is,
and
man.
for what you guys were doing at that time, yeah, that's sketch.
Yeah, man. And then, and we saw that, right? We saw that, just a couple months ago, right? With what the guys were doing, man. The big portion of what they were doing was crowd control with, folks that were probably even more scared and more desperate. So, it's part of the job, man. It sucks, but yeah, man. Either way, like like I said, man, like those those events at Katrina, man. That man, like I could talk about it all day, man. It was awesome. It was a blessing, man, to be part of that, especially with, and it was like a huge PJ reunion. It was, it was so cool, man. Man, awesome. Top five of my career.
Yeah, well.